Hello, my dear ones. I always enjoy sitting down and rapping, going over cases. I've always had a passion to see people well and to see people get their remedy. Hard to have remedy in all these different levels. Law is a good example of how bad remedy is for the private sector anymore, particularly in the States. So getting remedy is important. That's your rights. Your right to be well, your right to be heard, your rights just to exist, and have your beingness. So what a planet. So thanks so much, each and every one of you, for helping to make this planet better and expand the consciousness, because as time goes and moves here and the planet stays around, more souls will be visiting, of course, and it's just nicer to have a nicer place, so to speak. I'm going to continue doing some Q's and A's because I just want to catch up here. Can't say I'm getting caught up, but I'm working on it. A lot of important questions, a lot of great questions you guys are asking, leading us into some areas that we've not touched on, because sometimes I can't always, I'm an intuitive speaker. I don't think ahead of time what I want to say. I might at home when I'm kind of contemplating, kind of getting an idea of what I want to cover. I get a lot of information and I do a lot of conversing with friends, but I still like to live in that moment. And that way I can address each and every one of you on all levels if I'm listening to you. And I can hear you from afar. So it's just that way, and I apologize for that in one way, and that I'm not always on point and staying straight that way. I'm bad about that. But I always do try to tie it back in. All right, this is Rudy. I had a good friend, Rudy. He was Dr. Jensen's first patient, became a lifelong buddy. They would go down in the Philippines and the psychic surgeries, and Jensen filmed it. I have all his cameras and film here, and he had his hand in people and stuff. I mean, just unbelievable. But Rudy Splavik, he was a napropath. And a napropath is kind of a cross between a chiropractor, polarity therapist, naturopath, sort of a combination of those things. So a napropath, and he could touch you on your back and ask you, in 1980, what did you do right here to your back? He's like, I couldn't believe he was that good. Hated medical doctors for all the pressure they gave us through all the years, and them, of course, they were older, so they had it really bad. When you have people always talking negatively about you and calling you all kinds of names, after a while, it doesn't breed hostility back. So a lot of the old guys just hated MDs because of what the medical profession was saying and doing against us. And we're the healers. We've always been the healers. Always. So it's just that sort of thing, a concerted effort to suppress natural healing and stuff, and it's just the negative forces, the game of the negative forces on the planet. So Rudy, my name is Rudy Hernandez. I am trying to get my dad and I to Healthville. Yeah. I watched a lot of Dr. Roberts videos on YouTube, and they were super helpful. Oh, good. I have been on a fruit and veggie diet for a week now and feel better already. I want to introduce some of your herbs into my diet. Just need a little advice. I'm 37. And Pop is 75. That's pretty cool. Hope to hear from you guys soon, and give Dr. Morse a hug for me. Well, let me give you a hug, Rudy, and your papa. Yeah. Well, remember, guys, that almost every symptom you have outside of trauma to the body, every symptom that is weird, whether it's a neurological weirdness, a stinging, a numbness, a shortness of breath, or whether it is an ache or pain or a swelling, no matter all these types of symptoms, dandruff, rashes, psoriasis, eczema, it doesn't matter, any symptom that you have, muscle pain, bone pain, I mean, it doesn't matter. This is all acidosis. when you can prove that, because when you shift to the domination of the base side of chemistry, those things go away. So you can prove this each and every time, and then looking at a little chemistry, what we do know is factual instead of theory. We find that most chemistry in processes, whether it's metabolism, respiration, or ionization, oxidation, or whatever process you want to refer to, these processes have an end chemistry of acids. Acidosis is the final end chemistry as the body breaks down to the atomic structure again, back to the atoms again. Because remember, when you look at the physical body, it's just atoms arranged to look like a human body. And that arrangement has a blueprint, an energetic conscious blueprint that they keep in the Akashic record. This blueprint is on the causal world for you spiritual people. And that's where you feel the phantom limbs, you feel these things because the blueprint is actually causal. And that is the lower part of the mind. That's where the big mind, the one mind, divides off into individual minds. Just like where consciousness divides off into states of consciousness. And so the big mind is called the universal mind. That you can read. Holmes wrote, I talked about Holmes a lot, wrote a lot about the universal mind. It's talked about in Christianity as Christ consciousness, the oneness of all life. It's talked about as cosmic consciousness in Hinduism and Buddhism and things. There's a lot of different names for this level of awareness that's intense. You lose form at that level. There is no more form in the universal mind. Form takes place in the causal world. So energetically speaking, through chemistry, we are able to enhance the energy of the human body into these higher levels and ignite these states of consciousness back into the cells again. It's an interesting thing, and it's fun to look at how creation is put together. Because if you don't know, then it's like not knowing something is you feel like you're out in the dark. You don't have a complete picture. But as soon as you start putting together the picture, because Jesus, Buddha, all these spiritual giants all talked about these. And all the Ek masters and yoga masters and all the beings that have had out-of-body travelers all talked about the different levels of heavens. And when you study these religions, which I've studied almost all of them through my life, you can see about where they originated from by the level of consciousness that they teach. You can only teach that which you know and you've experienced. As you begin to take the veils of unconsciousness off, and the darkness, and you start opening up to the light, you start seeing things you hadn't seen before because you were in the mind worlds of thought. And now you've taken the shroud of thoughts and lifted up above them, and therefore then you can see everything. So practicing on that and working on that side of yourself is always vital in survival of yourself throughout this experience and then on. So, sorry to get off track there, but going back to this, the lymphatic system is always the system in the human body that deals with the sewage side, the side that is fermentating and putrefying and breaking down. That is not a blood, nor can it be a blood response or responsibility. Blood cannot do all things at once, just like a kitchen cannot be a bathroom simultaneously. You're not going to poop in the sink and then fix your food in the sink. And that's the problem with the medical thinking when they think that systemic wastes are being dumped into the venous system. That thought is a theory and has no actual facts, and the massage therapist bought into that theory. Now that they're finding the lymphatic systems in the head area, like Discovery Channel said, they're going to have to rewrite the books. The problem is they haven't found the ones at the base of the spine and how that is there, how that deals with the legs up and then to the kidneys. They haven't dealt with that. So there's more there to be exposed and seen yet. And then who knows about osmosis and any other process that would absorb waste toward elimination. So you always want to work on the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system includes the kidneys, the skin, the adrenal glands, the thyroid gland. Now, if you're sweating pretty good, you don't have to worry about the thyroid gland, particularly if your basal temperature is in the mid-97s or above. But you have to always, and I don't care how old or how little, you always must work on a person's lymphatic system. That includes the kidneys, the adrenal glands, and the lymphatic system itself. So there are herbal formulas for the kidneys, there are herbal formulas for the adrenal glands, or glandulars for the adrenal glands. And of course there's herbs for the lymphatic system, and there are major herbs on this planet. America is unbelievably rich in lymphatic herbs. America has so many great lymphatic herbs: bloodroot, pokeroot, chaparral, plantain. There are just so many great lymphatic herbs. You get bit by a Zika, you get bit by anything like that, like a mosquito, and for any virus, the lymphatic system. You get bit by snakes, you get bit by spiders. The lymphatic system is your poisonous system. So you always want to think about the lymphatic system. Kidneys, adrenals, and a formula for the lymphatic system. That's 3 formulas just for that, right? Now, what else do you want to think about when you're looking at the human body and how it affects everything? Your GI tract. Your GI tract, in today's world, and we've talked a great deal about this, how bad it is. So we always want to work on one's GI tract. That's your stomach and bowels. So that's essential. We use 2 herbal formulas for that. We use the stomach and bowel formula. If you're a little sluggish in your movements, we increase that from number 1 up to number 2 or 3. Depends how sluggish you are. You want to have a nice gentle movement every day. You don't want laxative to accomplish that because there's no gentleness to laxatives. You want bowel restoratives. So that's what I have. Regardless of what anybody says out there, I've been an aggressive herbalist since the early 70s. And I can tell you, Cascara sagrada is one of the nicest herbs in nature, non-addicting, very gentle, gives you a little nudge pancreatically and hepatically, as opposed to buckthorn, turkey rhubarb, senna, aloe, Cape aloes. All of these things are very aggressive, very irritating, and of course addicting. So you don't want to go that way. So for you and your dad, you're into the kidneys, the adrenals, the lymphatic systems. All right, that takes care of all the pain, the tumors, those sort of things. You want to clean up the GI tract because there's absorption, there's digestion in that area, and that's kind of where you want to look. You want to look at the endocrine glands. So I at least have someone on 2 kidney formulas, 2. 1 tincture and 1 capsule. I have people on 2 lymphatic formulas, 1 lymph node, which the lymph nodes are always tinctures for us, and the lymphatic capsules. Now that formula will also start cleaning the bowel wall even more aggressively. So this will start helping with malabsorption and things like that, even though the lymphatic system is the main system down in malabsorption. So you're always hitting the lymphatic system. No matter what you ask me, what questions there is, you're always going to go after the kidneys, the adrenals, and the lymphatic system, bar none. Bar none. Because if you don't, you can't, because it doesn't matter what you're diagnosed with, it is always inflammation or the breaking down of cells. It's either external to a cell or internal of a cell. It's either extra or intracellular. And it's outside of a cell, you can use the word inflammation, even though inflammation is the natural body's immune response to acids and proteins. Intracellular acidosis, leads to cell mutation, leads to atypical cells and then what they call the cancer cells. And all it is intracellular acidosis. But before that, you'll see what a cancer cell begins to look like when it is being involved in high acidosis and stagnation of acids. You see all the proteins or acids on the wall, the mucus that's attacking the immune system, in other words. So important to understand that outside of a cell, that's your lymph system and all that sort of thing. Intracellular, also the lymph system, but you're at another level. So you always want to work on that lymphatic system no matter what. The GI tract, no matter what. Now, If you're having cholesterol problems, you want to use the circulation formulas while you're going after the lymphatic system, because cholesterol is a product of acidosis and lymphatic stagnation. So even in cholesterol and circulatory problems, you want to go after the lymphatic system. I don't care what, even neurological problems, you always want to go after the lymphatic system. And looking at the adrenal glands, there is a huge part of the nervous system, the neurotransmitter part of the nervous system. So big deal to go after these same tissues in everyone, in yourself, your dad, your mom, your babies. These are vital, because when the kidneys go down in the adrenals, there is hell on earth to pay. In terms of pain, mutation of the body, you just look around. We are a product of consuming non-food sources, or food sources that are not made for human species. You know, just because a bear or a cat can have a little meat doesn't mean the human can. You know, so we have yet to accept the reality of our species as frugivores. We have yet to do that, and we have so much special interest groups now that that's impossible. Because the Dairymen's Association, the Cattlemen's Association, instead of saying, you know what, we've discovered that this stuff really isn't good for man, and backing away from that and finding another outlet for income, they're going to run it and run it and run it until I don't know. So that's the problem. Instead of when we find something that isn't working, get rid of it and then keep trying, we just keep using it. It's like airbags. Airbags have caused more serious injuries and deaths than they've saved by far, and yet they haven't got rid of them. You can't save everyone, nor do you want to. You have natural population control, and the problem with this level is that it has the ability to have massive population problems, because there's no reason people will be terminated at an early age. An early age would be in your 90s. If you fix your kidneys and your lymphatic system, your dad has no reason to pass. You know, if your body just has no reason to pass neurologically or acidically, you can live on and on and on. Remember the French physicist that kept a part of a chicken's heart alive for 20 years? That was an experiment well known in A&P. Kept a part of a chicken's heart alive for 20 years, and one weekend everybody's gone in the lab and they forgot to do one thing to it. They forgot to make that accommodation, for the story goes anyway, and so the cells started to die. And from this experiment, it was deducted that not only is the nutritional supply to a cell essential, the elimination of its wastes are essential. And that's what terminated the cell. That part of the chicken's heart was the inability of that lab to remove the waste over a week or a weekend. So it was interesting to read about that. I'd like to go back and re-look at that and see, because that was a lot of years ago you study on that sort of thing. But so understanding that if you supply the proper nutrition to cells and you eliminate the byproducts of the burning of that nutrition, there is no stagnation in the body developing. There's no inflammation developing. There's nothing there. You're not creating an environment for your proteolytic bacteriums. So any virals that come in are cleaned out easy as they come in. So really, there's no reason for anybody to be terminated. Think about it. It could be interesting times. So that's what I would do. I would go after that. If you have a lung problem, fix a lung problem. Use herbal formulas to go after specific tissues. If you can afford it, go on at least the 2-week program. Both of you, deworm yourselves. Always deworm yourselves. The 2-week program we have is doing that, or make one up for yourself like that, to where you are deworming yourself. You always want to deworm yourself and defungal yourself. Bacteria, leave them alone. Mr. Hellville. Uh-oh. Extreme acidosis. Holy crap. Message. I'm having a number of issues that I hope you and your team can help me with. Doctors are dismissing my issues as genetic and teenage hormones. You know what? I just hate that. But you know what? It's no offense, but it's typical any physician. When you don't know, instead of saying, I don't know, you make up something. Oh my God. When someone comes to you in trouble, they're not coming there to whistle Dixie. They're coming there to tell you they're in trouble, whether you know their problem or not. Honesty is, this whole thing, and I think you're beginning to see the need for honesty and integrity, whether it's Wendy the Runt or whoever it is, a need to have honesty and integrity, because if not, your ego gets out of shape and then the karma comes whapping your butt. And it's just the same thing in helping people. These poor people like this suffer, and they go, I don't know. I've heard this year in and year out almost every day. Well, I had pain in my shoulder for years and they can't see anything. Well, you don't need to see anything unless you have a density to the lymph fluid where you're starting to see a tumor or a mass developing. That's meant that real stagnation of acids. You're not going to see anything on x-rays. You can't see acidosis. So that's the problem. They should know this without having to take a picture. Why send your client through a picture and an x-ray and radiation when it's easy to tell them the problem? I don't get that. I suffer from extreme premature hair loss at age 13 years old. 13 years old, this chap is getting hair loss, or was. What in the heck? Okay, so those that are getting hair loss at any age, step back. All right, now, what side of chemistry? Because remember, everything's chemistry at this level. You can do this first. All right, which side of chemistry is causing this hair loss? It's not the base side, not the alkaline side. That's the blood. That's the healing side. It's the, acid side. And dandruff is another good example. You don't want dandruff. That's stagnation of lymph. That means your lymph is oozing out your scalp. And these are acids. Just keep your dandruff on your head for a couple of days and watch you get a little red spot on there. Yeah, because it's burning you. These are acids. Very serious stuff. So at 13 years old, this young man had to have a stagnation of the lymph system, meaning at birth. Basically, he had a stagnation of his lymph system, which means right off, kidneys and adrenals are involved in this lad. Immediately, you're going to go, kidneys and adrenals. Common almost with every birth. Kidney and adrenals. Matter of fact, we should rush them from there into kidney and adrenal work. And you know what I'm saying? So very important to understand that sort of thing, that when you start to lose tissue, what side of chemistry is doing it? All right, so that's easy. A 5-year-old, an 8-year-old can understand this. Even though the word chemistry is an ominous name, there's only two sides of all chemistry. Now, the second question you have, which system, since my body's divided up into systems, which system in my body could be down causing this problem? Well, we know it's not a cell problem. In a sense, it is a cell problem, but it didn't come as a cell problem. You had hair before. So when you have hair first and then you don't, something's breaking down the hair follicle, something's breaking down the tissues there. We know we're on the acid side, okay? We're all together on that one. Now, which system deals with the acid side? Exactly, the lymphatic system. Now we're into the head area where they found the glymphatic system and the lymphatic system. So I don't know how you can have two different lymph systems named differently so much, but it's just medical doctors. But now that they're finding the lymph system in the brain, now, whoa. Now, what about the lymphatic system and the cerebral spinal fluid? It's supposed to be a detoxifying fluid. So there is so many considerations here. But if you keep it simple, you will always know that your lymphatic system's down when you start experiencing anything all the way up to the top of the head and all the way down to bunions on the feet. toenails, fungus. That means your lymph system's backed up head to toe. Well, it's a fluid-based system. And when it's blocked at its elimination site, it backs up head to toe. You're going to always notice the genetic weaker area. Now, this young lad could have a dad that lost his hair early, blah, 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 blah. It's still the same problem. Still the same problem. Yes, the hair follicles can be genetically weak. Yes, 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 yes. But that didn't take off the hair. Chemistry took off the hair. So now you have to realign yourself to that. You have to realize what all these videos are about, and the fact that, wait a minute, we've been eating outside of our genre. We've been eating like billy goats, like omnivores, and we are not omnivores in any way, shape, or form. We're not dogs, hogs, bears, or chickens. We have nothing that looks like them. We're not compared like them internally, physiologically, or anatomically. So where does that leave us? Horses, elephants? Nope. Nope. Same issue there. So where are you back again? You're back to the primate family. I know somebody wanted me to do a video of Harambe, but God, I don't know what to say. You know, man's deficiency sometimes causes others suffering, but hopefully they took him out quick. Remember, that's another soul in that body, you know, not to the maturity of the human level, but still a very powerful being under that roof. It's just sad to see those sort of things, you know, when kids, you know, do things like that. But you can't fault the kid. That's the natural thing of kids. Hard to fault the parent, because being parent and grandparents, it's hard to watch babies 24/7 and constantly. But when you're around an exhibit like that, and I would think at least you wouldn't have an exhibit like that, wouldn't have anything to crawl through. But when you look at Busch Gardens and you look at Walt Disney World, they're very similar. No one's ever fallen in those places. So I don't know. Just a sad situation. That. Chronic acne. Okay, also 13. So right there's your answer, my friend. You had chronic acne at 13 and you have hair loss at 13. Same reason. This is stagnation of your lymphatic system. And obviously your mother might want to take a look at her lymphatic system, because at 13 means you had to pretty much get backed up in your mom. You know, when your mother isn't filtering and you're in her, you're not going to filter either. You're going to get your lymph system backed up. This is why you're seeing tumors in babies now, is because the mothers don't know anything about their lymphatic system. No one's telling them, because very few people know. That's how important you guys are to this world. And I can't understate it or overstate it, because you guys are just so important to that. And look at this young lad here. So the chronic acne, again, skin, part of what system? The lymphatic system. See where we're going? Keeps pulling your attention back to that system. Well, when you focus on that system, you get your remedy, because now you're proper, you're on truth, and you're focusing on the proper things to get well. Treating something like that is playing the illusion game. Oh, we'll just put something on it and drive it back into the body. What could that be? Well, not understanding how the body works and its elimination as well is a vital part. Can't just look at digestion. You can't just look at absorption and utilization. You also have to add proper elimination to those three other processes. So when you look at yourself, you look at anybody else, am I digesting properly? Do I see undigested materials in my stools? Am I absorbing my nutrition that I digested properly? Hard to tell, except that you get thin and can't put on weight. Malabsorption, big time. It can also be digestion hooked with that as well. Now we have one few people really look at, and that's utilization. Naturopaths need to look more at utilization instead of deficiency. Get rid of the concept of deficiency and start looking more at the body and where it's going wrong by the type of foods that man's consuming. I mean, man is consuming things that are not even foods. Look at these kids drinking these neon, radiating, active drinks. I mean, it's like, whoa, you know, that sort of thing. Scary stuff. You see where I'm driving this car? All right. eczema and frequent urination. Okay, all right. Now, a young lad at frequent urination at 13. Okay, so that, you start to see you have kidney problems here. Both around 16. Okay, so eczema and frequent urination around 16. Boy, this would be something I would want to look at. Here's 2 reasons for that. 1, kidney weakness or prostatitis, and a 13-year-old can have it, or pituitary. So if you did bedwetting late, pituitary gland. These are actual weaknesses within people. Nothing wrong with the children. These are weaknesses within them, and they need to be addressed. We need to start looking at that and addressing these sort of things. I've been transitioning to 100% and also looking to purchase lymphatic capsules, kidney and bladder, and also upper circ. My questions are, smart lad, which lymphatic formula should I get? Will I ever have a full head of hair? Age 18, male. All right, so this is what I would do. Upper circulation for sure. And I would do this, my friend, since you're only 20. If you can afford this, upper circ, brain and nerve. Get your brain ignited on, because with all that acid up there, it's going to do a little chewing on your brain. So get up there and do upper circ and brain and nerve. Okay, so that'll help. That's for hair follicles, etc., etc. But wait a minute. Don't we have to remove the cause of the problem? Absolutely. So don't get frustrated. You can get hair growth with just the upper circulation, but we have to remove the cause. So you have to go into a detox. You got to go on your fruits, berries, and melons. You've got to go into the kidney formulas. Now, start out with this. Start out with Lymphatic 1 capsules 2-3 times a day. Add that with the stomach and bowel formula, right? Or a GI broom. If you can afford it, just do one of them. Do a kidney number 1 capsules, all right? Now, at the same time, do a kidney number 4 liquid tincture and a lymph node number, let's say 3. All right? Now, you want to do an adrenal gland formula. I would say this. If your blood pressure is a little on the low side, which I can't imagine it not being, because you're going to see one or the other, my friend. You're going to see low or low and swinging up to high as your life goes on. So you really want to deal with these kidneys now, and the adrenal glands. So you have a choice. Either do an adrenal gland herbal, hitchhike licorice to it, or start off with a glandular of 200, let's say, or 400 milligrams, either one. The lower the blood pressure, like say 100 or below, 400 milligrams. If you're about 115, 200 milligrams of a glandular. So you'll want to use a glandular maybe for a bottle or 2, and then go back to go to adrenal herbal with hitchhike a licorice root. And that's a whole dropper full 3 times a day. That's what I would be doing for myself or anyone around in that respect. Now, where else am I going? What is down below the head? The GI tract. So you want, again, use a stomach and bowel formula and a GI broom, or one or the other. You want to do an endocrine gland formula with that. You want to do the adrenals, but also an endocrine gland formula. You want to turn on the pituitary and all this, because when you're starting to go balding, you got to ask yourself, is my glands in my head going down with it? That's your pituitary and pineal. Pineal is going to give you insomnia. Pituitary is going to give you growth too tall, too short. For women, menses problems, bedwetting problems, or cortisol problems. There's just a line of problems. Thyroid problems, parathyroid problems. So that one's a little tricky. You have to listen to all the other videos on that one. So that's basically what I'm thinking. I would go that route and then shake it up. If you can ever get to, depends what your bowels look like. If your bowels have a lot of sulfur and chronic, I would do Lymphatic 5 just for 1 month. That's a strong one, just for 1 month, and then switch back to Lymphatic 1. And just work with those 2 lymphatics and 2 kidney formulas, making sure you're covering the adrenal glands and the GI tract. Outside of that, you can do the upper circ and brain and nerve to get hair growth quicker and to turn on the brain again and stuff like that. And you got a good package. If you got a pancreatic or a liver gallbladder, go after that. You can add a skin formula to help the skin to start to breathe more. So there's all kinds of things you can do with that. Being that, wait a minute here. Absolutely. With eczema, definitely want to do the skin formula. But do the liver gallbladder formula for about a month first, the same type of herbs, and then go to the skin formula. Make sure your thyroid basal temperature is under your arm is mid-97s or above. All right, my friend, you get yourself out of trouble. You can do that. You're only 20. You're young. You can knock this out of the park. Get your hair back. It's not just about the looks. It's also about Alzheimer's and dementia in the young. You just can't go there. So I have a thing. Stop it.
No!
Dear Dr. Morse, I need your advice urgently. I am a sponge with your information and apply this knowledge with results where medical approaches have failed to shift symptoms and conditions. Thank you, my dear one. No surprise, and there is no surprise. You know that this is reality. And this is factual. Nobody's beating up on anybody. These are facts. Just the facts, ma'am. Just the facts. And the facts aren't in their favor. This is part of the problem. So it's a new dawn. It's a new sunrise. And you have to realize that the old antiquated way of thinking needs to disappear and replace the new life-giving and understanding. We can't keep carrying, and humans tend to do this, keep carrying all this past like balls and chains down the road. Kind of like ostriches in the sense they don't want to look up, they don't want to see truth, and they just keep carrying all this old crap behind them. No, clean all this out. This is detox. Time for a new day. Time for a new breath of fresh air. Time for your power back. Time to get yourself awake again. Absolutely. Or you'll be one of the sleeping. And that's no fun, emotionally or any other way. I am sharing all the knowledge I have received from you, firstly on myself, so I speak from direct experience. Good proof. Is this Jennie? Oh, good. Thank you, my dear. I have received from, so to speak, with friends and family. Well, that's how you should, share it with those people that you love and people that will listen. Of course, on the other hand, there are some family members that it's hard to believe a family member. It's like, what? We have so much judgmental attitudes in the human species, just judgment. Judge this, judge that. If my son's learning something, I want to know what he's learning, Or if my mother or father was living and they turned on to something, well, I'd be interested in it. We should always be open to grow and learning and making a new day. In particular, my parents, who are now 80 and 78. Wow. My sister, her kids, my friends and strangers. And no surprises, we are seeing improvements with well-being, pain, inflammation, diabetes type 2, skin conditions, constipation. It goes on. We know this. We know how powerful fruit is. Is that cool? I love it. I love it. I love it. But it's true. The problem is getting good, ripe fruit. Tree ripe, plant berries, ripe and delicious. I have a peach tree and it is time for peaches, and I have been eating peaches off of my peach tree and it's nirvanic. It's nirvanic, although something's trying to beat me to them, but it is so nirvanic. I love a tree ripe peach. Take a store-bought peach, one that's picked unripe. It's hard, and the only way to ripen it is put it in the window and let it ferment. Then, as opposed to a ripened peach, which pops all over your face, and you get this smile of intense pleasure. And the other one, you're going, when man understands that the food is central to his experience, and yes, I said sensual, then he will start to understand that eating good food makes a smile on your face and makes you happy and excited. Eating dead food just gives you that dead look. So it's just that fruit, and when you get that ripe, and it's just like, oh my, like a mango, like a champagne mango. Oh, and I've got mangoes. Maybe we'll get the camera and show you maybe tomorrow. But I've got little mangoes, and these are Valencia Prides. This big and amazing. I'll bring you some. Of course, we won't be able to eat it, but I could eat it in front of you. Good stuff. This is a great lady, Jennie. You know, I appreciate the fact that you're helping everybody around you. It shows your heart, and it shows you're a great spiritual woman. And that's exactly, it just brings joy to help others. There's ups and downs to detox. Don't get it wrong. There's no question there's ups and downs to this. Hard in these advanced cases to just do fruit or to do this or do that. We get all that. But we can work you through these things because it is a doorway that all must ride through. You know, it's just no one's free from having to go through that way because it's backing, it's reversing how you created all this. And that's the only way you get true remedy. You can't get no remedy treating your problems. So what does one do when faced with a life and death situation with advanced stage cancer? Well, where the medical profession are doing everything they can, but still the patient is not responding and organs are now failing. Our main obstacle to successful applying this knowledge is medical protocol and the individual approach and awareness of the doctors involved with each case. Yes, they may embrace the information, but as you say in your last video, they take a left turn when you go straight on down the fruit road. They do. You know, they're stuck on this protein thing, and they see the protein problems. It's right in their face. A cancer cell is nothing but a cell with massive proteins attached to it and mucus. It's just they see it, but they don't compute. It does not compute. And putting someone, I have a medical doctor that sent me all his cancer people. He's a great guy. He's an MD, but he's holistically minded. But he always puts his patients on a high-protein diet. Now, get this. Always, and always, the cancer people's markers go wham! He freaks out, and that sends him over. Almost every time, instead of, wait a minute, and I keep saying, protein diet, no. So, it just can't wake up to that. But every time he does, their cancer markers skyrocket, and that's when they pull the freak out, and then I have to deal with it. But that they just can't compute that. And it's like, come on. Sometimes we learn illusion, we learn falsehoods, we don't learn the truth. We learn propaganda, we learn theories as if they were actualities. That's not true. We can't live that way anymore. Humans are about dead on the planet. You can't live that way anymore. We have to live on truth. And I think you're seeing that shift. I think it was Britain or one of them was wanting to get rid of the corruption and start, and I'm going, yeah. Man, that's what we all need to start talking about. Let's eliminate the corruption and start bringing spirituality and love. If you're a medical doctor, change your consciousness. Come aboard. I mean, we got plenty that have, and now their reputations are getting big in the field of healing. So it's good stuff, you know. This is for everybody to have fun with. But those that can't grow and learn, stagnation exists within that. They need a good fruit diet, don't they, Jennie? So what does one, okay. Our main obstacle to success applying the knowledge is medical protocol? Absolutely. You know what the main obstacle is in these cases? Is the client or patient themselves, to be honest with you. You know, I have seen so many people in my life, I can't even tell you. And I can read you when you come in. I can tell you whether you're going to do the program, whether you're not going to do the program. I can see where your hang-ups are, where they're not. And it's like, you know, and I try, when I see them, I try to talk to them because I know exactly their consciousness and what they're going, how they're going to respond. And it's sure enough. And so I try to pre-warn them and try to get into them because not everybody can shift like that. Sometimes it takes an awful lot of fear, and sometimes people have to go through chemo and go through that and get ravaged with that or radiation and then understand that, whoops, there's nothing we can do, there never was anything we can do, and we just made your life a whole lot worse. Sorry, bye. That doesn't work. Now there are those have got some success out of that, there's no question. But when you're down to 3 to 6% success rate, and that's only those with strong constitutions that survive this, it's not the fact that there's any remedy with chemo or anything. It's the individual themselves that are the survivalists of that. It's pretty scary. And so the opposite's true. Probably only 6% of the people that try our way don't make it. But they're already been through the AMA and everything else. It's rare to have someone that didn't not make it. But the problem I see in our field is that there's so much crap out there, like the Budwick program. That makes tumors grow right off. There's so much crap out there that people waste their time before they're introduced to this higher level, and I'm hoping that we'll change all this. And they won't waste their time peddling on Gerson and crap like that, and they get to the system and understand what's going on with them and get to the system and focus, then they're successful. And that's where you guys come in, just like Jennie here. She knows what's up. But I'll say you this, when you've got a client that's in trouble and they're in these later stages, give me a 40-day grape and lemon juice diet. Thank you very much. I just gave that guy yesterday a 40-day lemon and grape juice diet. Drop me 40 days. Drop me 20 days. Whatever. But get them on a strict program. Strict them in every way, because they don't have the time to play. Those that have the time to play and it's too strict, they can play a little bit at first, but when you've got those that are at death's door, there's no time to play or wait, and you want to make sure they want to live. Because if they don't want to live, then they're not going to live, period. And you also want to make sure their heart chakra, their heart is open. If not, you want to be opening their heart if you can, because a closed heart means death. In those final stages, if you want to stay here, you have to open up your heart. There's no question about that. Yes, they may embrace the information, but as we say in your last video, they take and they do. And it's too bad they do that. How can our voices be heard in a medical setting? Do I keep pushing? What can we do in this situation? And the light and the sound of love to you too, Jennie. You know what? You keep pushing. You keep curing up people right and left. Your reputation will precede you in the coming months and stuff, and they'll start looking at you. Even oncology, third floor down in St. Joe's at one time, kept my card there, the nurses, and when no one was looking, they would go like this. Because they knew that the medical was a death sentence to these people, and nurses have big hearts, most of them. That's why they're in the field, to help others, most of them, not all of them. There's two types of nurses out there. There's the 2-year I know it all, and then there's a nurse that has the compassion in the heart. So, you know, when your organs are failing, and you know which organs start failing? Your kidneys. They're the ones that start the first. And when your kidneys start failing, unless you do something real quick, you're done. So that's the problem. And it's just getting into the people that's relying on the medical community for a small percentage of success, a hope that is hanging on a string. That's what pisses me off the most about the medical community. They're liars. Tell me the truth. Tell your clients the truth. We will try. The success is low. And in these experimental chemotherapy groups, I hope they're being truthful, because it's rare to have any survivalists out of these experimental chemotherapy groups. It's rare to have one survive. I had one survive out of a 432 people were in this experimental chemotherapy group. And this one lad in there, wife, actually worked at a health food store down in town, heard about us and told her husband, you get over there. Had lymphoma. He was a scarecrow when he came in to see me. He was so skinny, he was a scarecrow. Well, he started on my program. Fruits, berries, melons, and herbs, right? Getting better and better, but he got a little thinner, of course, because what's one of the problems with lymphatic stagnation? Malabsorption, right? So his medical doctor would yell at him and tell him he's got to eat and got to do this. So he came in one day a little frustrated, and I said, here's your remedy to that. Get this one. So I said, I want you to put weights in your shoes. It's a true story. I got it on video. We laugh about it. I have a video I did at my house years ago. Tried to pull in a bunch of cancer people that went through it and were successful, just to hear their stories. So I don't know where I have that video, but it's around here somewhere. But he put weights in his shoes, and I said, don't worry, he's not worried about you. He's worried about your stats. And he put weights in his shoes, and I'd be damned if his medical doctor quit yelling at him. Didn't know, you know, I look at you. I don't look at your I look at stats, but I'm looking at your body. That's where everything is being, the problem is. And so that was funny. He's alive and well today, by the way, with no no lymphoma left. Matter of fact, he ran into an RN several years after that. He told me this story a while back. He said the RN recognized him from this group. And she says, I can't believe you're alive. And he said, why? And she said, everyone in the group passed. Well, they all pass. So that's the issue here. And we don't need to live in that dark world anymore. Come to the light, everyone. Come to the light and the sound of God. And you will appreciate that move, I guarantee you. Hey, Dr. Morse, thank you for taking the time to answer this question. You betcha. You betcha. I really do appreciate from the bottom of my heart, and I'm doing it from the bottom of my heart, too. Be happy to help. I'm a 33-year-old male, 33 years old, just really at that right age to enjoy that, to come into his own, and absolutely. Who is currently trying to dig deep and detoxify my body. I have some symptoms relating to the male reproductive area, which I would be grateful to hear your opinion on. Okay. I find it very hard to empty my bladder, and when I crouch down or sit down, I frequently find small traces of urine being eliminated. Would this be due to a weakened prostate, perhaps? I would say the bladder itself, to be honest with you. If you have a weakened prostate, your stream is going to be reduced because it's swelling. And since it's pretty much around, the urethra, you're pretty much going to see a little swelling and bim. So it could be. But you could have a fold in your bladder. You could have positional issues with a weak bladder and that sort of thing, which would bring to my mind connective tissue. You could have a weak sphincter. Connective tissue. So what I think I would look at this as, now look at your eyes, get a picture of your eyes, then you're going to look at you can see the prostate, you can see your kidneys, of course, the prostate, and the bladder. You want to look at all those areas to see which one you're involved in. It's going to be probably chronic at 33, so get a picture of your eyes and look at that. That's where you're going to really see that. But I'll say this, be thinking about your parathyroid gland. To go after the parathyroid gland, one needs to think about using a glandular for that one. That's the only one I'd highly recommend a glandular for. And I would recommend the 50 milligram one we have at 3 times a day. And I'd hitchhike that maybe with a Bones formula. See if you can't strengthen that sphincter and that bladder. If it is prostatitis, then it's a kidney problem. It's your lymphatic system. And that means your prostate's swollen, but it does reduce the stream. But you can have weird sensations with that. There's people that don't pee well until they ejaculate, then they pee well. I mean, there's all kinds of things that you can see involved in this, but it all is involved in the lymph system and swelling, or in the weakening of connective tissue where sphincters don't close completely, or bladders fold over, all kinds of crap like that. And of course, when you add the genetic weakness to all of this, then you've just got weak tissue all over the place. So strengthen, strengthen, strengthening. In the future, remember tonic strengthen. So as you go down this road, you young guys and gals, think about using tonics to strengthen the body. Tonics like ginseng, and there's just all kinds of tonics out there. I would definitely go after my kidneys, my lymphatic system, and my adrenal glands at 33 years old. That also will deal with the prostate. That'll also make sure you have adequate testosterone to have a decent, fun life. All those sort of things. This is the time you really want to do just what you're doing, digging in, cleaning yourself up, and you will have the best time the rest of your life, guarantee you. Unless you're emotionally and all that, you create things. But this is a big problem like that, and I've seen that before. And you gotta have it where you can dump a little, it stops, rearrange, dump more. I mean, I've seen all kinds of stuff. So clean and strengthen, and all this stuff happens under the acid sky. Remember that. So again, you're back to understanding chemistry, that acids swell, rob calcium, weaken tissue, all those things, and you're going to jump on the other side. So the eyes will tell you how much work you have ahead of yourself. That's the thing about using iridology. It'll give you an idea of how involved these tissues are. It'll give you a little insight to whether you have a parathyroid weakness and a connecting pituitary weakness. Not to confuse people, we're always going to touch on these subjects, so keep looking at that and thinking that. The pituitary is the main gland. It can control everybody else. So that's when I look at height. If I see too short, too high, I'm going to go to the pituitary. Of course, I look at the eyes constantly anyway, so I can see pituitary or not. But there are symptomologies with it. So a few of these things, think about that, my friend. Another issue I have, which for me is the scariest, is that I find I cannot maintain the blood flow in an erection for very long with forcibly flexing my PC muscle. Wow. Well, you know what? You could have some prostatitis, low testosterone there. You might want to pull a blood work up and take a look at your blood workup. I was going to say that on this last one here, too. No, I think it was on yours I was thinking of that. You know, take your blood work, look at your PSAs and stuff like that and see where you are with that. Look at your creatinine levels, look at your PSAs and stuff, even at 33. I had a guy in here at 42, PSAs of 2, which is in their normal ranges, prostate cancer. So that was about 10 years ago. Scary. So be real careful. I just want to drain away very quick. It just wants to drain away very quickly. We'll use lower circulation. You know, try using lower circulation. I mean, you could have enough lymph stagnation to block proper blood flow. That is possible. All down in that area. So lower circulation would be a good formula to increase blood flow to the penis or any other tissue in the body, the testicles, anywhere. So lower circ and upper circ are excellent for moving blood. At the same time, remember the lymphatic system is 80% of the interstitial fluid there. So you want to move lymph. Inflammation, acidosis weakens things. You know, prostatitis and weak adrenals makes you have low testosterone levels. So at 33, that's also very possible. You don't want to take it, you want to fix it. So you want to go after your kidney. Here's another case. You're going after kidneys. You're going after the adrenal glands. Because remember, the kidney formulas are not diuretics. They strengthen the kidney tissue itself. You're also strengthening by eliminating inflammation, or acidosis would be more appropriate. This has resulted in me having an incredible performance anxiety after many failed attempts to make love to a girl. I can see that right off. That would be discouraging big time to me. I'll tell you what, spend about 3 months going after this with what we're talking about, and then use the male reproductive formula. Make sure your PSAs are down. You want below 1. But you want to use that male reproductive formula. It's not real hot. I quit making the hot one because it was too hot. But that'll help you. But the male side, there's a lot of great male herbs. There's some real strong ones like yohimbe and stuff like that, but there's some weaker ones that are helpful. You'll see it in my prostate formula and my male reproductive formula. You might want to do the prostate formula for a little while and then kick up to the male reproductive formula. But you got to go to kidneys, adrenals, go to those systems because the adrenals play a major role in testosterone. So you really want to get those adrenals up. And my guess, my friend, is you're going to have low blood pressure too. Watch your blood pressure. Many years ago, I read some stupid stuff on the internet about penis enlargement techniques with hot towels and stretching the penis. I stupidly performed these exercises for several weeks and now hear how others have done the same, have caused themselves damage to the soft tissue at the end of the penis, which now won't allow blood flow. You know, there's just so many stupid things out there that we try and get ourselves in trouble. Sun gazing. One guy burned himself so bad. I mean, there's so many stupid stuff out there. Rectal stool implants, urine eating, salt water drinking. What the hell? I mean, there's all kinds of crap out there. Diatomaceous earth and all kinds of crap out there. It's like, these are all recommended by people that have no clue how the body works, have no clue how true healing takes place in the body, and these are just people like the Budwick. Where did that stupid butt ever get that? Now all these people with cancer are getting tumor growths all over the place and getting worse because of this one stupid biochemist. That just freaks me out. I hate to even say anything about being a biochemist. You know, we hurt others by our idiocy sometimes. So my recommendation is, if it doesn't ring true and it's not about regeneration, kind of skip over it a little bit. If it sounds ridiculous, it probably is. I don't know. I would regenerate myself. I wouldn't call that as something that did this to myself. I'd go back and regenerate myself and work on it. By enhancing your pituitary, enhancing your adrenal glands, you can enhance the penis size and growth. And there's plenty of herbs that will enhance that, but I wouldn't give that as a thought. I would make healthy that which is weak. Then if you're too small, it can get a little bigger. Same as women's breasts. Getting your body back into hormonal and steroidal balance is the key to all of this. And getting into balance is not something a medical or a chemist can do for you. You can't do it with supplementing steroids or hormones. You simply have to make the cells healthy because that's their job. So when a cell is weakened, either from genetic memories or from sewage building up all around the outside of it, causing inflammation around it, not allowing it to have good blood absorption or good lymphatic flow or sewage elimination from the cell itself, we've got to fix these things. And fix them we can. Okay? Plenty of good tools out here to fix ourselves without getting these bizarre levels of thinking. It doesn't do us well. It doesn't make our system look good to the world at all. It's like traditional Chinese medicine. You have stuff in there that just makes that, it takes the authority and the goodness out of it. When you start eating body parts of bears and tigers and all this stuff, you're taking it over the limit. Man doesn't need to go into these body parts of animals as a botanical type of thinking, because that's not botanical thinking. There's plenty of great herbs, and the diet is essential. To understand the diet of man is man's number one job, is to understand that he has been brought up with nothing but lies about his species. So I'm hoping Discovery Channel will do some good things. There's some possibilities coming. I hope there's some good things. Because the Discovery Channel, of all people, have the ability to change this world, and is doing that right now. But don't worry about the past. Focus right now. You can rebuild, strengthen. So do these things as I'm talking about. Does it sound like the problems I'm experiencing are done to a weakened prostate or the latter I have just described? Well, a weakened prostate can be very much in your issue. So with a genetically weakened prostate, what would be low to some would be high to you. Even a 2 PSA, like I've said, in a 42-year-old caused prostate cancer. Means it's just that level of acidosis. Suggestion, get a picture of your eyes, take a look at that. Take a look at your areas. There's plenty of information on our site. There's iris charts available, and look to see your prostate area. That's hands down. That'll tell you right off, because I wouldn't know in you unless I look at that too. The symptoms do suggest that you have weaknesses in the bladder, the prostate, and definitely in the kidneys and adrenals. So by fixing all these things, and I would also take a look at my other glands, parathyroid would be a very important look for me in terms of strengthening bladder walls, prostate walls, urethra walls, all of these walls. All these things. All your tubes can be weakened and spastic and narrowing and closing off. I mean, everything. It can be a friggin' nightmare with the urinary tract. That's what those that have to insert and use catheters and stuff know exactly what I'm talking about. A lifetime of inserting catheters and stuff, and then you have your dialysis horror, nightmare. It is not worth it. It is so worth it to change the diet for a little while and enjoy the good foods of nature that fit our species for the sake of having phenomenal health, always feeling good, never having these type of problems. It's worth it. It's worth it to go beyond, develop some self-discipline, and get rid of the crap that's making you sick. In your experience, do you see men with weakened prostates experience this type of erection problems? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I just talked to a gentleman that had his removed just a few minutes ago. And, of course, there's no erection. Now, some men are able to get erections after the prostate's removed, but you have to go to the adrenal glands. That is your next pride and joy, is your adrenal glands and kidneys, and you got to work on that. You still have your prostate, so you can make it healthy. And you can strengthen the connective tissue in all your tubes and in your kidneys, in your bladder, the prostate, It can strengthen all the sphincters, all these things as well. Remember, everything weakens and prolapses and dies under the acid sky. This problem has been a curse on me. I bet it has been. I would be affected by it. It affects your confidence, but you know what, Bobby? You get it back, and I'll help you get that back. You get it back all the way, my friend. You have to regenerate. This is genetic in your world. And you get in there and you rebuild this tissue. That's the beauty of botanicals. They're tissue specific. So, excuse me. So, the diet is systemic. That's your power. Although they're specific, they're the power. But the herbs, they were put here for specific cells in mind. So they have a specific consciousness that goes right to those cells and uplifts them. I mean, we can't second judge God and why these herbs and how beautiful, and we have proved for 40 some years now how they work. I love them. And I've heard this from nothing but all you guys of how great these herbs are and how powerful they are. And I am right with you. You know, when you make your formulas right and you have a 1 to 4 concentrate, which to me is the essential level, you got good formulas. Even 1 to 5s you could get by with, but I don't know. I'm not sure. My friend at Herb Farm uses number 5. I don't know what his ratios are, but I'm sure they're close to 1 to 5 to 1 to 6. You got up to 1 to 6 or more, you don't have very good formulas. How's my time? Oh, good. I want to take Solaray Total Cleanse for my kidneys. I got this brand because I am not from the U.S. and didn't know if I could get yours. But I am a mom who still breastfeeds. Well, I would think, I'm familiar with Solaray. I would think if they allow Solaray into your country, I can't imagine why they wouldn't allow our herbs in your country. I don't know what's in that formula. I don't remember. But if it's all herbal, I don't care. You know, you want all herbal formulas. Get away from isolated chemistry. That's what we don't want. We want 100% herbal formulas. So you want to get good company. Solaray is a fairly good company. I would say maybe a 6 from a 1 to 10. Because there's a lot better formulas out there, but Solaray has always been a fairly good formula as far as I used to sell Solaray in my health food stores in the early 70s, I believe. My son is 2 years and 3 months, so he only breastfeeds once or maximum twice a day or very little. Yeah, he's too old, honey. And you're going to start filling him full of mucus now. And then he's going to start getting more cold and flu-like symptoms, little fevers and stuff like this. No, he's way past that time. You need to get him on fruits. Getting him on fruits and berries right now. He's way past the age to be on fruits and stuff. So get him on fruits and stuff. You're probably going to see mucus discharge when you do this because he's been on milky products for this long. So you can fill him even with your own milk mucus. So you just be prepared for that. Get a little mucus out of him when you put him on fruit diet. But this baby should be on fruit diets, maybe coconut water. I don't recommend coconut milk for infants. Too much lipids. Coconut water would be better mixed with some fruit juice. My food habits are very clean. Since last August, I am eating mainly fruits during the day and veggies and greens with some avocado or tahini for dinner. High vegan diet, high carb, low fat. Good deal. I want to do this cleanse because I have seen your videos about kidneys and skin. Yep. I have had acne for over 15 years. I started in my early 20s and am now 37. Well, keep in mind, honey, baby, keep in mind your little baby. So you want to detox that little baby slowly and doing the fruits, moving him away from breastfeeding. It's time for you to go after your body and get your body healthy and get him off the breast and get him on the fruits. Start maturing his brain and nervous system. That's the fruit side. Fruit is brain and nerves. And that's why it's the only level you can regenerate man's nervous system with. So you need those fruits in that baby right now. This is when his brain's maturing, his awareness is maturing. That's why fruits are essential to infants. I have changed my diet from standard diet to vegan, and now for over 8 months, very high raw, vegan, high carb, low fat, for 1 month and for some days. My skin hasn't improved, actually is very bad at the moment. And I will repeat this, my dear one. Pull off the baby. It's way time, and start getting on the fruits for them and the fruits for you. You need to go into a full-fledged detox. Get on the fruit diet. Get into your kidneys, your adrenal glands. Start going, knowing that you have this weakness. Your baby's gonna have it too. So you just got to fix baby, and it might be something to think about in the near future. 2 years old, can well take herbs. A couple of drops of the kidney formula, adrenal gland formula in his juices would not hurt him at all. Wouldn't hurt him at all. It would be very helpful to his future or her. So think about these things. There's a lot of neat things we can do to help our infants, and you don't have to worry or be scared about them. 2 years old is pretty adequate. Remember, our grandsons were eating fruits at 3 months old, and these guys are my one grandson's a force to be reckoned with. My God, I can't even catch him, man. This guy's a stout little brick. You know what? I mean, this guy's. I never seen a kid so even a pediatrician's going, what in the hell are you feeding him? He only will eat fruit. He don't want anything else. But I knew where he came from. I know why he's here on the planet. When I first saw him, I said, you're a warrior. I know the planet you're from. I mean, it was amazing. And this guy is a warrior, dude. He's starting to learn balance, but he's come out of a warring planet too. This guy's a big dude. Amazing stuff going on this planet. And all these souls coming from all these places, guys. I'm telling you, open up to these higher levels of what's happening. You're going to see all kinds of stuff going on here you didn't see before. And don't get scared about things, because it's life breathing everywhere. Man's just been sheltered from all of this. Religions and governments have hidden things so you won't grow. I mean, to hide UFOs and stuff, that's where. So then what do? Tell them you all lied? Just for the sake of religions and all that, how do you explain UFOs in Christianity? And yet, they've been around. I mean, you see them on cave writings. Come on, that man has been under the sand too long. Do you think to take these pills while I am still breastfeeding is a good idea? I think you need to stop breastfeeding. Thanks for all the information you share. I love you, my dear one. Love you, and get after this skin problem, because now you're the one in trouble, and you've been in trouble, and you now need to fix yourself. You're the mama, and to be around for the baby. This is the system of all cancers. Remember that too. This is the gnarly system of acids and all that implies. So you need to get honking on it and get your baby on fruits and let your baby clean its lymph system out and get its kidneys filtering, or nothing but trouble. And that's not good. All right, you mamas, take care of your babies, but also you ladies who want to be mothers, fix yourself first before you have babies. Bring forth major babies. Bring forth a new revolution of a new level of health in man. And it's you mamas that are going to be doing this. So men, understand the ladies need love, and take care of them, because they're the ones bringing in these powerful souls. My name is ZePaul Thomas. ZePaul Thomas. Well, BJ Penn's not going to be fighting. BJ. You shouldn't have done that, BJ. I had him on Raw. Damn. Ooh, I was born with cerebral palsy, spastic, I never pronounce that word, plagia or whatever. I have a gait walk, and my motor skills are affected. So is my walking and hand movements. 2 years ago, I became vegan and gave up wheat and sugar. I still deal with digestive problems like bloating and gas. I don't take any dairy, of course, and I also deal with body odor too, which I thought would go away with my diet change. I've been working on cleaning my digestive system lately. What do you suggest? Good question. All right. First of all, let's address cerebral palsy. And let's think about upper circulation and brain and nerve, okay? Upper circulation and brain and nerve, mandatory for this problem. And also there's another formula we have called antispasmodic. It's a neurological antispasmodic. I would take that myself right along with brain and nerve number 2 and upper circulation. And if you needed more for spasticity, I would definitely go on up with that. You can take antispasmodic at a dropper full every 3 hours if you had to. Or a half a dropper full, whatever will control the spasticity. At the same time, now that is how you're rebuilding neurons and stuff like that in the head area. Now, you want to deal with the cerebellum. The cerebellum, of course, is where your autonomic and the central come together, the optic nerves come together. That's a big center here. So with that, cold packs, work on the neural lymphatics down the back. But to get this head to drain and to get up in here properly is to get your kidneys and adrenal glands up to par. So you already have digestive problems, so you already are going into the bowels. Mandatory, and my focus is the GI tract. And here's just a good example, guys, where this person had digestive problems. So we're always going into that digestive system and working on it. It's just one of the systems that is essential that everybody seems, or most people seem to have trouble with. So we're going to go 2 kidney formulas, 2 lymphatic formulas. We're going to upper circ, brain and nerve. We're going to go to an adrenal formula. If this person's probably moving toward higher blood pressure, but we'll see. If it's higher blood pressure, you can only do an adrenal formula or an adrenal 200 initially, glandular. Or if it's low blood pressure, hit them with 400 milligram adrenal glandulars. You're looking for neurotransmitters, and that's out of the adrenal glands. So those you want to enhance the adrenal function. That'll enhance the autonomic and work itself up into the cerebral, into the central. So these are some of the things you want to work with that. At the same time, my diet's going to be 100% fruits, berries, and melons. Nothing else, because this is serious. All the palsies to me are serious. And yeah, absolutely. And all that'll change. But you have to get up in there, fruits, berries, and melons only on your diet. I would go on a 12-week program or have one of us write you one, but you want to start off with upper circ, brain and nerve, and antispasmodic. That little threesome, that little package of threesome needs to be until you're done with this. And get yourself out of the cerebral palsy. You can. Very curable. Very curable. But you want to get up in there, and you got to get up in there with upper circ, brain and nerve, and antispasmodic. At the same time, you've got to get into the digestive tract. You're getting through all places through the lymphatic system. Use your stomach and bowel. I'd also, if you're on our program, you're going to deworm yourself. That's going to help you. You're also going to go into the hepatic and liver gallbladder formulas. That's going to help that area, and trace over and jump with the pancreas a little bit. So there's a method to our madness. When you see our protocols, you'll see how it fits someone like this. And perfect fits someone like this perfectly. But when you have someone that already has a palsy or an MS or something, you want to go immediately to upper circ, brain and nerve. And if they're having spasms or spasticity with that, always antispasmodic to control that. And you'll work them out of this, 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 and pretty soon you'll have someone like this done. Rebuilt and healthy and happy again. I would like to clean my lymphatic system. Oh, let me tell you. I sit here preaching it all the time, but I'm listening to my own words, guys. I have a lymphatic system as a mess too. I did well as a fruitarian. Then I opened health food stores. Then didn't know any better. I'm young. There's no one to talk to. I mean, you're talking late 60s, early 70s. There's no one around. There are few people who knew natural hygiene. They were generally older, and they would go to these fasting clinics, and thank God we had one down in Bonita Springs. So I would visit that quite a bit, talk to the naturopath there. I ended up going to the naturopathic school he did because I loved their focus. Basically when you're going to these schools, no matter what school you're going to, you're reading books written by other people. You want to go to a school that works with your focus. When you get into the God worlds and you get into these higher worlds, it's a little different. People live outside of towns, and people come into the towns to learn. They're learning centers all around. And people go in to learn what they want to try and learn to develop. Here we cram and we cram and we cram like a computer, and the problem is when we get out, we have nothing but mongoloid. We're so crammed, we lost our awareness. So we want to look at how higher levels of the God worlds do things. And they do things like that. Learning subject matters. You know, you got to learn your basics. But after that, you're going to see a whole world of kids leaving high school. These higher souls, they don't need the awareness. So they're here to give the awareness. And so they just need to learn how to communicate with their, with the different ethnic groups and things, because you have different languages on every planet, everywhere. There's differences everywhere. English isn't the God world's language. Neither is Sanskrit, by the way. But it's enough to say that cleaning that lymph system. But when I opened up health food stores, I thought this was all healthy. I didn't have anybody to talk to. So raw milk yogurt. You had Columbia yogurt at that time. There were some other top-end yogurts. And I just put cherries in it and everything. And I was just thinking it was healthy. Digestive enzymes, right? Or at least beneficial enzymes, lactobacillus and bifidus. Right. And so I'm sucking that down. So all the lymph and mucus I got out of me and all the things I'm feeling good, I put back in. Didn't know any better. Nuts. Oh, these are good. These are good for you, right? I went through these stages that I teach people not to go through, so you don't have to waste your time and go through them, because I did and got the kick from them. So now I'm constantly working on my health too, because I've had a lifetime of struggle too. It's just the way it is. And then when you're with a significant other, or you take on a partner in some way and they're not into it at all, that's a problem. So it becomes a big problem when you're trying to sit out there as a lone wolf and raw and everything, and everybody's going, what are you doing that for? You know what I mean? Now we have the brotherhood and the womanhood. We have each other. We have a massive group and I've been working on people for all these years, so I've been healing people all around the world. We have all our creative arts people I've been working on for years, all the musicians. So we have a lot of people, our fighters and things. So we have a lot of people building and building and building and building now. So now it won't be that way where people get themselves well and then fall back on misinformation. Just the way of the world. That's why I don't judge anybody, and I don't expect you to judge me. We're all here together trying to bring out a message that's tough to get out, yet simple in its focus, but very, very powerful in its application. The most powerful thing you've ever strapped around. Could you please tell me if apple cider vinegar is good to do that with? No. People, and this has been coming up quite a bit the last few days. Interesting that this is here, because apple cider vinegar in the old days, that was the way to go. Instead of distilled vinegar, which is very acidic, apple cider not as acidic, but still. What is the benefit of consuming fermented foods? Bacteria? Fungus? None. There is no benefit to eating fermented foods. Matter of fact, the very nature of fermentation pulls you away. The very smell of vinegar is like sulfur. It pulls you away. It doesn't pull you into it. It pulls you away from it. It doesn't say, come here and hug me. It says, run. So it's hard. My grandmother was a vinegar freak. Put vinegar on our sunburns. Vinegar is acidic. Sunburn is acidic. Well, she didn't know any better. She should have rubbed aloe. It would have taken the heat and the pain right out. Oh, no. She put vinegar on, which exacerbated the pain and stunk. Oh. Old-time remedies, right? Not all are right and proper. So, no, I don't recommend apple cider vinegar at all. I'm not a Paul Bragg type of person, and be careful with Paul Bragg stuff. Make sure she got the MSG out of the liquid aminos. I have the whole weird situation with Paul and Patty being the daughter. No, Patty's the wife, and I mean, it's a whole mess there. Dr. Jensen was personal friends, so I got the whole lowdown there. Boy, that was amazing. I don't know. I am following your protocol and some of Dr. SEBI's, but apple cider vinegar is not on his list, and neither is it on mine, my friend, because he teaches alkalizing the body and vinegar has acid, and I'm right with him. right within my 100%. Please help me. I really like it in my salad dressings. Well, you can have a little in your salad dressings, okay. If you're doing all the good stuff and you're doing just a little bit of apple cider vinegar, who cares? But it is acidic, and be prepared for that. But a little bit here and there, okay. You know what I mean? Always moderation when you're detoxing. If you're not detoxing, a little apple cider vinegar on your salads is not going to hurt you. But if you're detoxing and you're digging in after tumors and stuff, I would get rid of the salad and the apple cider vinegar. Walk with balance. But it's not something you have to avoid completely out of your life. No. But I do not want to keep using it if it is not cleaning my lymph. No, it is not cleaning your lymph. No. You remember lymph is a fluid. And the fluidity of a fluid is based upon its pH. And even though the lymph system deals with acids, and it has a lipid base, which makes it much thicker, it still has a certain fluidity to it. This is why movement is so more important to the movement of lymph. And to prove that is if you fracture or something and you have your arm, let's say, in a sedentary position, it takes a while to work that stagnation of lymph out of there because it's gotten stiff on you. That's the lymph system. That's why activity is vital to lymph. However, there are people that have gotten themselves so advanced that activity would mean more deterioration of hips, knees, and everything else. So you have to use the fruit that are astringent. You use astringent properties that have an action of pulling. You could say maybe distilled vinegar might have a little astringent action to it. But that's more of an acid stripping action. But those astringent factors in fruits, do weigh on that side a little bit. But that's what starts to draw and pull the astringent action. But in reality, the ionization process of consuming all the base chemistry ionizes with the acid chemistry, bringing more of an anionic medium out of a cationic medium. A cationic medium is a medium of dehydration, agglomulation, meaning everything is sticking, and coagulation, everything building up. When you bring your electrolytes, when you bring alkaline chemistry into this, everything starts to hydrate. All this acid agglomulation breaks apart, and now you're getting a little more fluidity, and especially when you open up the closed kidney channels. If you don't open up the closed kidney channels, there's no way, even in your hydrating, for that fluid to have any movement because the process of filtration has been stagnated. So you have minimal filtration. So this is why you see the swelling and the tumors and the cysts and all these things. So I would head off on a fruit and berry and melon diet if you want to detoxify your lymph system, get to the kidneys and the adrenal glands, which control that, the thyroid and skin, and then go after the lymphatic fluid with lymphatic fluid herbs. And that's where your success is. That's where your success always is. If you're going after the lymph system as a system, not understanding the kidney connection and the skin connection, you're going to fail with that. Because that's why people failed in the past. They've not understood that the kidneys and the skin are the eliminative organs of this system. And when they're not eliminating, you start seeing problems with them. Skin, psoriasis, eczema, and all the things on the skin. On the kidneys, you start to see, just like we were talking about, excessive urination, cystitis, all types of inflammation in the lower burner, prostatitis, ovarian cysts, endometriosis, depending male or female, all these sort of things. So that's the way I would do that. But I love you, man. Thank you, Trace. Thank you so much, my friend. Go after it that way. But a little apple cider vinegar in your salads, who cares, once in a while. But if you really want to hit it hard, get away from the vegetable matter, because that's not a good lymph mover. It's okay food, but it's not a good lymph mover. Get to your fruits, berries, and melons. Hi, Dr. Morse. I find your videos extremely motivating. Good. I hope so. I love you guys for picking up on this and working them, because, we don't have to suffer. And the proof is in the pudding. You know, just get yourself, jump in and enjoy it. Sometimes you just have to jump into something new and just have full faith and just jump right in. The water's nice. And there's a lot of us here waiting for you. So, you know, it's all good. Now, I have a question about detoxification and cheating. Ooh, I'm a cheater once in a while. How far back does a cheat set you? Not much. It depends what you cheat. You know, if you have a little something, like if this guy has a little apple cider vinegar on a salad, that's not going to stop his detoxification. If you have one meal where you just broke down, you had to have some fish on the top of a salad or some chicken on top of a salad, all right, just go on, keep on going, don't even think about it, no big deal. If you start eating more cooked foods and start picking that up more and more and more meals, yeah, you're going to see it. Even one cooked meal a day, not good at detoxification, to be honest with you. But if you have this or that now and then, just go on. Just go right on. Don't even think about it. You know, just chalk it up and keep on going. Don't kick yourself in the butt. Don't even think about it. Don't decide to digest good and just keep on going, because it doesn't matter. You know what? It just, remember, what was it, Bill Murray? It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. What really matters is you and your consciousness. Now, if you're suffering and you've got tumors all in you and stuff, then it probably does matter. So just work at your speed that you can work. But jumping in is a good way to do it. And then you get through it, you balance out, and now you got your life. You can really come from a greater perspective of life and yourself, and then you can figure out where you want to go and what you want to do with that. So cheating is what it is, and everybody does it. I've seen people hide and do it. You don't want to do it, though. And we had a lung cancer case, and the poor thing, she was doing good. Her varicose, we couldn't believe her varicose veins pulled in that fast. I've never seen varicose veins pull in so fast in my life. She was a major smoker, had varicose veins all over her legs, and you can, we have testimony, we have people that watch this. Within 2 weeks, I had her on parathyroid. I had her in 2 weeks. These big varicose veins all over her legs were gone. Now, that doesn't happen. I don't see that. So amazing. But this is strong gene soul here. So it was amazing. So she was doing good, pulling up all this stuff. I go, oh, we're going to win this one. Well, then she took a turn for the worse and went down, and then she really didn't want to do anything, and then she passed. But as she's passing, she said, I just want to let you know I was cheating a lot with hamburgers and hot dogs. True case. All right. In a sense, it is like ketosis, where it takes a few days to get yourself into detox and cheat kicks you out. So you have to work for days to get back in the same level. You shouldn't have to. You know, if you get ketosis, you want to just go on watermelon juice here for the day, flush that out, and you're good. That'll pull you back into a normal lipid thing. So if you've got ketosis, yeah, flush out for the day. Man, you might want to flush out for the next day if you do a real bad meal or something like that. But just keep on going and don't think about it. You know, because it's just life and the way it is here. Nobody's judging anybody. We're all here to help each other get well, and I'm here to help you. So if you cheat, I cheat, who cares? I was a perfectionist, like some of you guys are. I was extreme. Nothing went in here that wasn't a fruit, berry, or melon. And I don't think I even did melons. I got to the point I just wanted to be a fruitarian. But I got too strict. And so God showed me the opposite side. It made me lose my strictness, and I thought I was doing good. I was eating healthy out of the health food stores and stuff, and I thought I was doing good. But it actually brought me back down to show me humility. And I hope I have it. Whew. Whew. Because it raked me over some coals. So it's like, that's why I say about man's ego, you know, these people that say these nasty things about it, you know, on YouTube and stuff, you know. That's just narcissism. And when you're, and I'll tell you for your spiritual people out there, when you want the Godhead and you want these higher levels of awareness, you're going to be developing to this. One of the first trials is moving through the physical force. Well, I'm helping you with this one. The second one is the emotional state. Well, I'm helping you with this one too. This is your adrenal glands, but this is also all your past emotional bad experiences might come out and come to light. We talked about that on the last video. Well, then there's the old thought forms that have created from the past and everything that comes when the mind comes into play. The ability to control thought. And I'm working with you guys on that because that's your next to the last escape you have to freedom. It's your mind. You overcome thought and you control thinking. You've made it. Except for one last level. And that last level is the id, the ego, is your individualization, is your ego. Now, ego is simply your individualization. When it's accentuated, you do things like Wendy does, or whoever that is, and you make statements that are lies and untrue to fester your own ego. Those are the ones that get hit hard. But when you're trying to have pure consciousness, you have to let yourself go. You have to let all ego go. You can no longer exist as an individual. When you let that last bit of yourself go, you will gain yourself totally. You have simply let the little self go, and suddenly you become this gigantic being that's infinite. But that's the hardest level to let go on your journey to the Godhead again, is the id, the self, the little self, the ego. And if you've accentuated your ego, you're in for some butt kicking. So, remain humble. Humility is a beautiful word because life has a way of taking you through, things to make you humble. Okay. Now, also, as for sediment in urine, why is it that the only time I have properly seen cloudy with sediment when I was experiencing a bladder infection? Because you were getting stuff out at the time, and that's why you felt that infection. You felt that acid, but your body was at least getting it out. You don't want to have a bladder infection where you don't see anything there. But you want to see cloudy urine most of the time when you pee. Bottom line. Bottom line is probably why you had the UTI or bladder infection or cystitis is because you weren't filtering. And then, boom, you let go. The body was purging right there, and you felt that purging as a bladder cystitis or whatever. But that's what you want to see a lot of all the time, and you don't want to be in a roaring detox scenario to do it. I've worked it for months on all fruit and still haven't seen close to that level of sediment. Don't forget to add in the herbs, guys. The fruit, I appreciate the fruit and all that, but add in the herbs. Find herbal formulas for the kidneys, for the lymphatic systems. Use herbs to help this out. You'll be more successful. It takes a long time just on fruits by themselves. The fact that we've hybrided these things down and everything. Is it likely that someone who experiences a lot of oral cold sores will have more outbreaks on detox, or will they improve? Oh, this is Alexandria. You will have more outbreaks, as a rule. I mean, I don't want to put that out there like a definitive, but, you'll have more. I had them growing up, because I had the smallpox vaccine myself. So I had herpes simplex in the mouth anytime, and I didn't know that they were activated. These virals are activated in an acidic medium, and they're just hangers. But you can have a viral hang or a viral load of any level, But when they start attachment, that's when symptomology is a nightmare. And so that attachment comes in an acidic medium. That's why acidosis exacerbates everything. And so you'll notice that when you're detoxifying, you'll see these things come out. But that's okay. You need them out to get rid of them. But if not, eating a raw food diet will keep it in dormancy for a while until the body gets to these levels of lymph to clean them out. So absolutely, I've seen both of those ways. But detox is the only way to get rid of virals. We've talked about this quite a bit. Adam, A-D-I-A-M, Adamum? Country boy mentality here. My wife lost her period at 35. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. There's something wrong with this. My wife lost her period at 35. She is now 4. How can that be? She recently was diagnosed with adrenal fatigue. She probably had AF for a very long time, and it might be the reason for her. Yes, she was diagnosed by taking a saliva test. She's gaining weight, and she hardly eats anything. Her bowel movements have been like powder for years. What? Her bowel movements have been like powder for years. She has also diagnosed with severe candida. Her doc put her on, Cortef. We have happened to catch one of your videos and you said Cortef would hurt her adrenals. Can you help? You know, you have to be careful with all antifungals because most of them are part of a fatal event group of pharmaceuticals. And I had no idea even Lamisil has fatal events tied to it. What? An antifungal having fatal events tied to it? Risky and scary. Risky and scary when you go out of nature and go into pharmaceutical worlds. So I take your wife is older than 35 now. My wife lost her period at 35. She's now 4. I take that. I don't know how old that is. But it's enough to say when you lose your period at 34, you have pituitary problems. That's up here. So if she wants to work on her pituitary, get up in her head, upper circuit, brain, and nerve. We're going to see if she's losing her hair a little bit. Is she turning gray? You want to take a look at all these things like that. So you want to get up, upper circuit, brain, and nerve, but I would work on her pituitary for about a month. I definitely put her on the female reproductive formula for about a month or 2, but just to tone the uterus and the ovaries. But I would definitely want to get up in there and get to that pituitary gland. And that would also bring rise to, does she have a thyroid or parathyroid gland weakness as well? Remember, the pituitary can suppress these other ones. So that one, you want to look at that. That's how you can get that pretty easy. But bowel movements powder, that's real scary. So I would want to spend about a month on a raw food diet using a liver gallbladder formula, stomach and bowel formula, kidneys and all that. And then I would want to do a liver gallbladder flush. Not the one with salt water, the one we recommend. Not the one with salt water. So I'd want to do that on her. I'd want to be looking at her eyes for sure. I want to see those eyes. What's going on here? Powdered stool. So it also speaks of high acidosis, and she's absorbing a lot of her water out of her colon to try to maintain some semblance of hydration. I mean, that's possible. You know, when your stools are too dry, you're absorbing that water too quick. And that would give rise to possible extreme systemic acidosis. So you'd want to look at that as well. And as you begin the hydration through the raw foods and getting the kidneys to filter and the adrenals up, that should change the nature of her stools and everything, especially if you're in there with the GI broom, the stomach and bowel formula. You're into the liver, gallbladders, fixing that up. You want to get up in the head with upper circuit, brain, and nerve. Like I said, you want to do the pituitary herbal for about a month. If she does show fingernails, prolapsus, a little depression and things, you might want to hit the parathyroid gland with that one. Hit her hard with that, but go with the kidneys and all this and start rebuilding her. You'll start going after that. She will get her period back, I'm sure, no matter what her age is now, because I'm sure she hasn't used up all of her eggs or anything, if that's a factor of what they claim. So that's what I would go with her, for sure. Definitely can help. I don't know how old she is now. She's still at the age of conception and stuff, because you want to be real careful, because you'll get her fertile again. So you'll want to be real careful there. Anderson. You think Anderson's going to be her next, looking like it. Anderson Cooper, going to be Kathy's next little sidekick. You didn't know I catch these things. Anderson, man. Blackheads. What do you get out of blackheads? You guys pick? You guys ever pick your face? Pick all this stuff out? You ever pick all that stuff out? What is that? Like dandruff, isn't it? White stuff, isn't it? Where's that come from? You got two choices. Because you know it's fluid-based. All right, so you got two choices. You got blood and you got lymph, right? If you squeeze hard enough, you'll get the blood. But what do you see mostly? Lymph. It's all lymph. So if you got them, you can do hot and cold, scrub your skin well. That's going to help to elimination. But what's the problem? Systemic constipation of the lymphatic system. And you want to get out of that. Notice the different foods and how it causes all to pop out and everything. Yeah. You want to move on the lymphatic system, and then it's clean and nice. No pimples, no blackheads, none of that. But you always around here, this is hooked to sinus, you will always get stuff out here. If you pick and pimp the nose and all that, you always get stuff out of those areas, because that's your sinus areas, and that's a very vulnerable area for mucus. Blackheads, hundreds all over the nose, small and big. Absolutely. Very familiar. Oh, you have them on the nose too, huh? Yep, all over. All pores clogged with white head material all over the face. Absolutely. Well, pick them up. You know, clean them out. It won't cause scars. Pick them up. But also hot and cold. Scrub. Get it real hot. Scrub. Then real cold. Then real hot. And scrub all that stuff out. But remember, it's just the lymph going out your face, which means it's not going down here properly. You can see that especially with people without tonsils or tonsils that are swollen. But all this, it's just going back to the lymph system and the kidneys again. Next phase is rosacea, and just keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse, you know. That sort of thing. But easy to get rid of these things. Easy, easy, easy. But milk will really bring them out. So if you want a whole face full of, drink a lot of milk and yogurts and stuff like this, and you'll have a whole bunch of them. People that like to pick, drink milk. You'll have plenty to pick. But this is all under lips, cheeks, around the eyes. No, very familiar. Very, 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 very familiar. And this is all really the lymph system here. Like I said, address your kidneys, your adrenals, and your lymphatic system. Get your skin opened up, and they'll all be gone. And quit eating the foods that are bringing them, clogging your lymph systems. Had it since 8th grade and have tried everything with no luck. Yeah, man, you haven't done this. This is how you get rid of this stuff, always. Cholesterol levels once on a very high, 850 at age 17. Okay, so now we have to go back here and talk about this. 850 cholesterol at age 17. So what's down in you for sure? Your adrenal glands, son. Definitely. This is a problem for you, because this might create low blood pressure initially, but you're going to see a lot of other things. Low blood sugar initially, but I think you're going to see everything going the other way. What this is saying to you, think what cholesterol is, okay? This is the main lipid product of the lymphatic system, and most of your adrenal steroids, including estrogen and testosterone, have a pathway through the cholesterol chain. So cholesterol is the body's main antacid. So what's all this stuff? Acids. Uh-oh. Where's your adrenal cortisol and your adrenal steroids to help you? They must be low because your cholesterol went high. That's a medical doctor should have known that right off. So now that's all tied in. You know for sure your adrenals and kidneys are down. That's for sure already. But now that your cholesterol levels were up there, that's your adrenal glands. You want to take care of this. You can detoxify the liver and stuff, but it's your adrenals that are the problem. But it's also why the blackheads. This is your sewer system, and your adrenals are down, my friend, and maybe even your kidneys at a young age like this. They're going to be down too. You can almost, remember we talk a lot about this, you guys can almost universally look at everybody and go, kidney and adrenals, kidney and adrenals, kidney and adrenals. It's amazing. All right, but now lowered to 170 at age 18, you still have the problem. Still have the problem, son. This is one you're going to have to fix, this one, because this could lead you into the very, very, very serious problems of occlusions and ischemic changes and things like that in brain, heart, everywhere else. Not good start. Go balding with all of this. This is something you want to fix at your age, and you're at a perfect age to do it. If any of this matters, blood like milk and arteries was, as doctor said, clogged, lowered, but now lowered to 170 at age 18. Now, let's see if I can make sense of this. If any of this matters, blood like milk and arteries was, as doctor said, clogged, lowered by not taking prescription medication and delayed release niacin, by the way. Now, you're taking, I get this, you're taking cholesterol medication to lower it, and you're using niacin to dilate the vascular system to help in that way? You know, really, all these things are deficient and lack of focus. These medical doctors don't know what they're doing. The niacin might help you if you were in stat need, where you really thought you were getting occluded pretty bad in the coronaries or cerebrals. Yeah, that might be helpful. But I wouldn't think at your age you're at that emergency need right now. But blood like milk. So I'm taking that as the viscosity of the blood was thicker than they thought it should be, something like that. I'm not making a lot of sense of that, but it's enough to say that your diet's been too acidic. It's exactly what's going on here. And you're not cleaning the blood properly, either through the spleen and or kidneys. Well, I can tell you your kidneys are down and your adrenals are down, that's for sure. So in looking at all this, all you have to do, my friend, is get on a raw food diet. Get on a raw food diet, go after your kidneys and adrenal glands, get your lymph moving, clean up your GI tract, and all this will go away. Guaranteed. All of it will go away. Your face will look nice. Everything will go away. Keep going down this road of taking statins and stuff like this, and this does not stop cholesterol plaquing. Not at all. And you're trying to fix the blood that way? Wrong way. So just go back on a raw fruit, berry, and melon diet. Do it for about 4 months, and you should clean you up pretty good. But go on some herbs for the kidneys, the adrenal glands, the lymphatic system itself, the GI tract, and the endocrine glands. Fix yourself up. That's you can take 5 herbal formulas and do this, or double your lymphatics and double your kidneys to go faster. And you'll be done. You'll fix yourself right up, son. But don't treat this. You're too young to take statins and things to deal with your cholesterol levels. They don't understand what cholesterol is. They still deal with the bad and good concepts. They don't understand there's no such thing as bad and good cholesterol. You have 2 types, HDL and LDL. One's high density, one's low density. One's within the wall with phospholipids, that's high density. The other one is your LDLs. That's your lymph systems, steroids. It's all important. It's all at acid. Remember, we're fighting 2 sides of chemistry. One we're really fighting, and that's the acid side. But we have 2 sides of chemistry to deal with, and your body has to deal with these 2 sides of chemistry. The humans have decided to eat outside their genre, so now we're eating acid-forming foods when that is the wrong side of chemistry to play with. So now you see where humans are. Full of tumors, full of inflammation, full of acids, full of pain, mutating. Wrong diet. Wrong diet. Period. Now look what we have to do to fix everything. Yep. Janice. Hey, Janice. How can I understand what Dr. Morse's YouTube saying without closed caption for the deaf member? Is there a closed caption for all the speaking? Boy, I tell you, you hit my heart. even though you can't hear me say this probably, but that's hitting my heart. We looked into that. Holy moly. The sad thing about it is, from what we've looked into, but I am going to look into this even more for you because I totally am in agreement with you. The cost involved was so astronomical for us to do this. We stepped back. We going, what? So we don't know. If any of you guys know how we can do this, we're not opposed to doing anything to help everybody. So we're not opposed to anything. So anybody have some ideas and help, our eyes and ears are all open. I'll have them look into this. Thanks, honey. Appreciate the question. Very, very good question. And one that got our hearts here a little bit. All right, this is Renee. Does Dr. Morse do a YouTube video that addresses raising children raw? Well, they're just part of the whole video here. We talk about it all the time. No different than raising anybody else raw, to be honest with you. You know, when you look at the human, we're a primate human. We are a frugivore species. So fruits and berries and melons are the key foods for all of us, whether we're small, big, or whatever. It doesn't matter. That's our main food. Even children's. We have all our grandchildren all on fruits, doing quite well and quite smart and quite big, and a lot of you are already doing that. So we really shouldn't have to have a book on that or anything. Of course, people want to know what foods and stuff, but you have, basically you only have so many fruits out there if you really look at that. If you have apples, you have peaches, and you have pears, and you've got grapes of all kinds, you've got mangoes of all kinds. These are all good foods. You have blackberries and blueberries, of course. You have raspberries, a little acidic, but still. Strawberries, unless they're organic, I wouldn't move there. And I haven't had a good strawberry in years. I mean, sweet and man. So you shouldn't take much to learn to raise your children because look what you're eating. I was in a restaurant eating one time, and I had to go to the bathroom, and I was looking at this one table where the mother was sitting there, and I'm going to guess that the young man was about 5 years old. I'm just going to make a guess. And she had a big salad brought out to her, and his plate was a hot dog and French fries. And so I have to get up and go to the bathroom, and I have to walk by her table. I'm biting my tongue, and I'm walking by her table. And I still regret to this day not speaking up. I just regret that. But I just wanted to stop and say, honey, if you want if you want that hot, because what was happening is the young boy was reaching over, grabbing her carrots and grabbing her tomatoes off of her salad. Well, she smacked his hand and said, whatever his name was, eat your hot dog and French fries. And that's what really set me off. And so when I walked by, I gave her this look, and I just kept on walking, and I wanted to say, honey, if you want his hot dog and French fries so bad, you eat it. He wants your salad. But I didn't, and I regret that. But she needed that zen. She needed that moment of zen to wake her up, that she was feeding her boy trash, hot dogs and French fries, all the bad combinations. I mean, just everything bad, not even human food, and she was eating a salad. To this day, I have not forgot that. Oh. My kids, 4 years and 1 year, are fairly healthy. They don't have any major health concerns. I would like to know if there is anything I need to know if I start them on raw now, or are they just like little adults? They're like little adults. So you can start them out. The 1-year-old definitely is primed for just fruits and berries and coconut water and stuff. 4-year-old, boom, right into that. Enjoy that. If he likes any cucumbers and things like that, you can play with a little guacamole and cucumber chips and stuff like that. Absolutely. Absolutely. The 1-year-old, maybe not so much the guac and cucumbers yet. You know, stay with the fruits and the berries and the melons if you want. Apple sauces with a little cinnamon in it. Good stuff like that. You know, good organic red delicious apples. Make an applesauce, put a little cinnamon. You know, maybe a little raisins. You know, get them into nice treats and stuff, especially the 4-year-old. We have a ton of books written. Matter of fact, I think there was one of the YouTubers that wrote a book on children's health. That's why I want you raw parents to write your books so we can promote them. People like this need to read them. You know, so keep your diaries and write your books. We are proud to show your books. We're proud to show the world what we're doing. We have absolutely not one thing to hide, where our doors are open, and take a look. We want you to see what's going on because the rest of the world is getting hurt too much. Now, never be afraid to stand up and talk truth, ever. If they don't like it, too bad. The world has to take it. In regards to any healing crisis, well, healing crises are healing crises. And you're going to know where your baby's weaknesses are. 4-year-old is not really a baby, by their healing crisis. But you can know in advance by taking a picture of their eyes, particularly the 4-year-old, and take a look at their genetics. Take a look at their lymph systems. We have plenty of YouTubes to show that. And take a look for yourself and see what they're up against. But you can never go wrong helping your children with kidneys, the endocrine glands, their bowels. You never can go wrong. And their nervous systems. So you can never go wrong giving children kidney formulas, endocrine gland or adrenal formulas, brain and nerve formulas, digestive or GI tract formulas. You can never go wrong. These herbs are safe and beautiful. The strongest herbs are in the lymphatic formulas. Remember that. But we have given plenty of 4-year-old lymphatic herbs. We've had cancer in 4-year-olds. We've done plenty of lymphatic work in 4-year-olds. I have not come across one yet, but as you know, there is a whole lot of them. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks so much, and thank you so much, Renee. I appreciate good moms and pops. I'm going to have to pull off here. I am making a fair amount of videos this week because you never know what comes up in my world, and I want to make sure I'm slowly catching up. But Chris said he had a bunch more to come off of there, and it's like, oh. I love you guys. You're doing so well. I'm proud of each and every one of you. For those of you that are struggling, here's a big hug. Relax. Relax. You'll make it. You'll make it. Okay? Sometimes it takes an inner strength and tenacity to make these things. It's easier just to say, I'm done with this world, let me go. But if you feel like you have unfinished business here and you're an advanced case, put your heart back here, put yourself back here, you know, because it's easier to turn away and leave this place. It's only your attention that's here, remember that. Your body is always going to leave, is always going to go back to atoms again. That's nature. So you're always going to take a walk away. It's time for me to remove my attention away from this drama. Well, get your body able to handle you. And then you can stay here if you want. So some of you are going to leave this world. Have fun. You're opening up to worlds that you cannot imagine. Joy, ecstasy. You'll be working on your karmatic issues for a while, but you'll always have your spiritual guides. You know, look at it this way. You're in a dark room in this world. When you leave this world, the rooms get brighter, not darker. So you want to work out all the negative stuff now, get it out of your beingness, get beyond the mind, and you will move from a very dark world to a extremely bright world. So look forward to working with each and every one of you, always on the inner planes, and enjoying everyone. And I'm hoping our seminars, you know, we don't have a lot of people right now willing to do things. That's why our seminar that I have in mind is kind of lagging along. Money that's needed and everything. So we're working on everything because I want to have a seminar with everybody so we can all come together and enjoy each other. Creative arts, musicians, singers, dancers, poetry, art, We can have classes, workshops of all kinds to learn the art of essential oils or flower essences or body work. I mean, this is a feel-good modality. Naturopathy, with all its rays of chiropractics and massage and all of us qigongs, all of us together, is a feel-good, enhancement, joyful world. We no longer can live in the dark world of chemotherapies and chemicals and surgeries that rip people apart. We're always going to need good surgeons. Yes, yes, yes. But this is all to the advent of wellness and rebuilding tissue. And this is a good time to be at these levels because the learning is incredible. The ability to pull free from these lower worlds are here. And so it's all good. So namaste. May the blessings be to each and every one of you. Have fun. And make sure you have fun. If you're not having fun, you're the one responsible. So make yourself have fun. Whatever you have that's on your back that's a dinosaur, get it off. Release all these chains of desire away from you. It doesn't matter. Only one thing matters, and that is you. And when I say you, I'm talking about God in the same breath.